Hola, ¿cómo están? Los saludo con muchísimo gusto. Mi nombre es Alejandro Franco y ustedes están viendo mi programa Sesiones. El día de hoy tengo un par de invitadas y a su banda, que estoy seguro varios de ustedes conocen, y si no, les van a encantar. Son de Canadá, son hermanas gemelas. En un rato vamos a platicar con ellas. Tengo un público maravilloso, además, muy fans de Tegan And Sara. Les pido un fuerte aplauso, por favor. Y bueno, las dejo con ellas, espero que la pasen muy bien. Recuerden que, bueno, pues estamos siempre con todo nuestro contenido en sesionesconalejandrofranco.com. También estamos en las redes sociales, ahí nos pueden seguir y pueden seguir cada detalle de lo que va pasando cada temporada. Bueno, los dejo con Tegan And Sara.
Listened in, yes, I'm guilty of this, you should know this. I broke down and wrote you back before you had a chance to forget, forgotten. I'm moving past this, giving notice. I have to go, yes, I know the feeling, know you're leaving. I'm calling you to say, yeah, I'm sorry, staring on the edge of safe. I'm calling back to say, oh, now I'm coming around, I'm coming around. Nobody likes to, but I really like to play. Nobody likes me, baby, if so comfortable. Remember when I was a stranger like a ball. I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. When I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little, when I jerk away from holding on to you, I know this habits hurt important parts of you. Remember when I was sweet and unexplainable. I'm nothing like this person, unlovable. I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. When I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little scared, when I get a little run, 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 run. I just want back in your head. I just want back in your head. I'm not unfaithful, but I'll stray. 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 Sensitive, it's true. Alligator tears cried over you, over you, over you, over you, over you. Run around on me, I'd sooner die without. Run around on me, I'll die without. Rattled, yes, it's true. Alligator tears spilled over you, over you, over you, over you, over you. Run around on me, I'd sooner die without. Run around on me, I'll die without. Over you, 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 over you. Run around on me, I'd sooner die without. Run around on me, I'd die without. No hissy fits, mind my manners. I won't make a scene. Oh, over you, over you, over you, you, over you, over you. Run around on me, I'd sooner die without. Run around on me, I'd die without. Rattled, yes, it's true. Alligator tears over spilled over you. Run around on me, I'd sooner die without. Run around on me, I'd die without you. Run around. my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. I was walking with a ghost. I said, please, please don't insist. I was walking with a ghost. I said, please, please don't insist. No matter which way you go, no matter which way you stay, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. I was walking with a ghost. I said, please, please don't insist. I was walking with a ghost. I said, please, please don't insist. No matter which way you go, no matter which way you stay, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. I was walking with a ghost. I was walking with a ghost. Out of my mind, 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 out of my mind. I was walking with a ghost. 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 All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come what rushes into my heart and my skull. I can't control, think about it, feel it in my bones. Rushes into my heart and my skull. I can't control. I feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. I feel you in my bones. You're slow to letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so feeling in my bones. Left hook, I didn't see it coming. Left hook, you've got that aim. Rushes out, run away. Rushes out, you always run away. What rushes into my heart and my skull, I can't control, think about it, feel it in my bones. Rushes into my heart and my skull, I can't control. I feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. You're knocking in my windows. You're slowly letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so it's feeling in my bones. Feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. You're knocking in my windows. You're slowly letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so it's feeling in my bones. I feel it in my bones. At night my soul feels pressure. Oh, feel it in my bones. Pressure. I feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. You're knocking in my windows. You're slow to letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so it's feeling in my bones. Take a breath with me, row by row. Now take a break from you. Who are you to say I take my heart out of my chest? I just don't need it anymore. Take my head out of the game, I just don't need you anymore. Feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. You're knocking at my windows. You're slowly letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so feeling in my bones. Feel you in my bones. It's in my bones. You're knocking at my windows. You're slowly letting me go. I know this feeling, oh, so it's feeling in my bones.
Un aplauso más para Tegan And Sara, por favor. Welcome to the show. Please have a seat. Thanks a lot for being here. So you're Tegan.
I'm Tegan, yeah.
Yeah, and you're Sara,
I
of
know.
course. I imagine that always is a little bit confused for the people that met you for the first time.
Yeah, I think there's people who've known us our whole lives who still
Yeah,
get
of
us
course.
confused. I think that's laziness, though. I don't think we look that.
I mean, the hair right now, it's
very
helping.
similar. It helps, yeah. It's
No,
very
but
similar.
it helps.
But it helps because there's the bouffant here on the front. Tegan also has a lot more tattoos, and she talks a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be
So if we were at a
on
dinner
this
party,
side then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're from Calgary in Alberta, in Canada?
We grew up there, yeah. Sarah and I were raised in Calgary, Alberta, and then we both moved to Vancouver, but now Sarah lives in New York. She's more East Coast, and I'm still very West Coast. So.
And what about other brothers and sisters? Or
No, my parents stopped after us.
really?
Yeah, we were too good.
Yeah, they were like, okay.
Yeah, too good. I mean, you don't want to mess it up. What if you have more children and they're not as good as us? You know, that was their thought.
And what about your family? Was a music family?
They liked music a lot. Like our family, we were very obsessed with like Bruce Springsteen and U2 and Cyndi Lauper. So we grew up with like a lot of music in the house.
That's enough.
Yeah, they were very supportive. Like of when we started to express interest in playing instruments, they were really excited by it. But they themselves were not musicians. So.
No. But I think they were delighted that we had that. Like they were initially very excited at the prospect of like dragging us out to play for their friends at parties and in the garage. Not when we got into punk music, but initially they were very excited.
So you start playing since kids.
Yeah, we were teenagers, like 14, 15. But we played piano as kids. Yeah.
Because of your parents, like
Well,
class.
they said they tell us that we asked to play.
Okay.
They could be lying to us. Maybe they forced us. I don't remember. They tricked us.
You have to be musicians. And then when did you realize that the thing was going serious?
I mean, after we graduated high school, we told ourselves we would take like a year to play music, and we didn't think of it as being like a professional decision. Like we weren't going to be musicians for the rest of our lives, but we thought, we'll just try it for like a year. And I think probably about 5 or 6 years after that, we started to say like, I guess we're musicians. I guess this is what we do. Like we never went back to school, and we certainly didn't have any sort of tremendous success right off the bat, but we had enough of a little bit of success that it would sort of keep us going, and then we'd have a little bit more, and okay, let's keep going and let's make another record. And so it was probably in our mid-20s that we started to saying like, okay, this is what we're doing for our lives.
That was happening in Canada?
Yeah,
or
we were
in the US?
still in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you start to hit the US? Because it's a tough market.
It is a tough market. Sarah and I were lucky. We had a leg up. I mean, being twins, there was something that made us really stand out, from the beginning. So we signed a record deal really early, and almost immediately they put us out on the road. We toured with acts like Ryan Adams and Rufus Wainwright and Neil Young. And
Wow.
So, yeah, it was like... It started up here,
Yes,
it was
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was very cool. So, so we've been lucky. America is definitely a difficult nut to crack, if you will. But we've been down there now, touring so much that it's become like a second home. And I found the U.S. audience really embraced us very early. So, but it's definitely difficult, and you have to work a lot. And we spent most of our 20s, in the back of a van. So,
And at the first time you were named by another name as a band, am I right?
Yeah, we had a band
Plunk,
in high school. We had a band called Plunk, and it was a kind of a joke because we wanted to be punk rock, but we weren't really that punk, so we were light punk.
Yeah.
So we called it Plunk.
Yeah, we didn't have a consistent drummer, so sometimes we were like doing punk music without the drums, So we.
So it's
were a
not
little
that
light.
punk.
It wasn't that punk. Or maybe there was something really punk about not having a drummer.
Exactly.
We were unconventional.
You never know.
We never know. Yeah. Well, I mean, now I listen back to that, and I'm glad we branched out in terms of our. The genre. Like, I liked punk music, but I think that we ended up finding more of a niche in pop music,
Yeah, I get it. And now you're living in Canada or in the US?
We both spend most of our time in the States, but we still have homes in Canada. Our family is there. We're very close to them. So.
Yeah.
And what about the music industry in Canada?
I mean, it's very vibrant, There's like obviously a lot of really amazing Canadian bands that...
Are they still embrace you?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a really great music scene, and we have very big audiences there, and great venues. I mean, it's a good country for music. It's very
a lot of support
supportive.
from the government too. It's not just the music industry, but very different from the United States. In Canada, when we were first starting out, we were able to apply for grants to get money and funding to do little projects here and there, and so there was a real encouragement from both the industry and the government and our parents financially, to continue to go. Not ridiculous amounts of money, not like what people sometimes
some
imagine,
kind of support.
but support.
That's
a little
enough.
bit of encouragement, and it really it helped us get some of our very first international tours, some of our first music videos. So those were really important steps that we needed to take, and if we hadn't had the support of the Canadian government or the industry, I don't know if we would have managed, or we would have ended up racking up debt,
And right now you have tons of Canadian bands touring all around the world.
Yeah.
Hitting like the number ones, winning Grammys everywhere.
It's really quite amazing. When we first started touring in America 12 years ago, it wasn't like that. So it's really exciting to see so many Canadian bands getting outside of Canada and having so much support internationally. It seems like when we started to tour, they would always say, "Oh, you're Canadian. You're so nice." That's what Canadians were known for. But now it's like, "Oh, you know, Arcade Fire or Stars."
Yeah,
or,
of
you know,
course.
you're like, "Yeah, totally."
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber,
obviously.
yeah,
Love the
you
Biebs.
cannot forget.
No,
Yes.
you cannot forget him.
And talking about that different kinds of music or genres or artists, you have been associated and have worked with several kind of projects, from David Guetta to Death Cab for Cutie, something like that. Which could be your best formula or your best way to, approach these different kind of people, because you are not only in one basket,
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
everywhere thanks of that work.
I mean, we always love to do the collaboration stuff and work with other bands and tour with other bands. I think we've noticed the most success has come from when we work with electronic music artists. So when we collaborated with David Guetta and Tiesto and Morgan Page, those seem to be the ones that are a little bit easier. They get out faster, the songs, because they're being played in clubs, but other
Exactly.
people are playing them, and they're being played at festivals, and so we've experienced a lot of success.
In the dancing,
Yeah,
actually.
in the dance world. I mean, I don't experience myself as successful when I dance, but in the dance community, we're doing okay. Yeah,
Are you sure you are not that good?
I'm not that good. I recently
You got a
danced.
good shuffle.
I have a shuffle
Yeah.
going. I keep some boundaries on my dancing, because when I let loose, I've seen video, and it's not going to make us any more successful than we are. There's nothing that needs to be unleashed there yet.
Well, I dance as the guy of Praise You from Fatboy Slim. Have you ever seen the video?
Yeah.
So I cannot,
Yeah.
I cannot criticize anything around it. And then you have worked with a lot of producers, musicians. How's the work in that way for you? I mean, to invite someone to collaborate with you in that way.
It's always very exciting. It's almost kind of the best part of being a duo, is that we're able to constantly change up who we play with and who we work with. And we've worked with some incredible producers over the last 10 years. So, and each one brings a whole new set of skills to the table. Sarah and I like to, really micromanage and get in there and do a lot of things, but each producer brings their own flavor to the record. And, like this newest record we're about to put out, the producer, Greg Kirsten, he'd worked with the Shins, and he'd also worked with, Kesha and Kelly Clarkson. So it was like,
Very diverse.
It was really diverse. So, that's the best part of finding a really eclectic producer, someone who
course.
has worked all over. They really, add something to the project. So
Well, are you aware about the Mexican and the Latin American fans?
we are.
Yeah.
I mean,
We experienced it yesterday
Yeah.
at the festival that we played. I mean,
'Cause-
so enthusiastic. Like if the average festival we do, the fans are like a 7. In Mexico, it's like 11. Like it's like off the charts. It's crazy.
Pueden dejarse escuchar un poco para Tegan And Sara.
So excited.
Here they are. Let me go to a commercial break.
Maybe what you said was, I'll pay you $10 later if you scream really loud for them. I don't know what you said.
No, I don't have that amount of money.
Okay.
Bueno, vamos a un corte, regresamos. Tegan and Sara están aquí en la casa de sesiones. No se vayan, regresamos. Estamos de regreso aquí en sesiones con Tegan and Sara. Thanks a lot again for being here in the
Absolutely.
show. So you're preparing a new album, am I right?
Yeah, we worked on it for like a year, and we just mastered it, and it sounds good. We're playing a few songs live, and they're going over really well. So I think we've got at least a couple, years left in us.
One more album for sure.
Yeah. This is the number 7, am I
It
right?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
7.
Wow.
Yeah, it leaves us speechless as well.
It must be difficult, to have like 7 albums.
We kind of ignore the first 2. We
Yeah, why?
I think it's like the evolution of
So
the band.
young.
Yeah, those were some really. We were young. We were like
You
20
weren't that conscious
22.
about what you were doing.
No, I think we were just sort of we were sort of like, these were the early songs and early production, and so really starting at about, I guess, like, I really think of So Jealous, which came out in 2004, as being the beginning of this, band. Even though we had those earlier records, So Jealous is kind of when I started to think, like,
You just skipped over If It Was You. It's like you don't even like it.
I know, it's weird. I do like If It Was You. I do, but I think when So Jealous came out, I really started to understand what the purpose of the band was, the aesthetic of the band.
I can
you know.
notice that you're sisters. of
Yeah,
course.
she's
I'm
very
hamming it up.
she's very protective over our earlier work. She really is always like trying to pull stuff out of the deep cuts from our early catalog, and I think sometimes she's doing it to torture me.
Well,
bring
that
all the
early
stuff.
work is also very honest. If you weren't aware
It's
what
true.
you were doing,
It's true.
I think it really shows where we came from. I do agree with Sarah that playing it is not necessarily that exciting anymore, but
Yeah, I get
you know,
it.
you have to be aware of your past, where you came from, and I think for 17, 18, 19-year-olds around then, like, we were doing pretty good. Like, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but not that bad.
It's really embarrassing.
So the change, the process of making an album change since number 3.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Well, I think when we were at that age, we were sort of well into our 20s. We toured a lot. We were working with bigger producers, and I think we had a better sense of who we were. So I think it's a natural progression.
A much better understanding too of the recording process itself.
Okay.
Because writing the songs was not necessarily the problem, but once we would enter the studio as younger people, we were very much relying on the producers and the engineers and these types of people to help us get the sounds that we wanted. And sometimes it wasn't your vision, it was their vision. And I think starting around So Jealous, it really started to feel like we were able to better execute our vision.
I get it.
So that's why I feel more proud, I guess, of the
Yeah, more
work.
clear vision.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
more like what I imagined we were going to sound like.
So you don't want to go out and tour the first 2 records?
No,
and do
I
like,
don't. No.
Are you sure?
No.
Think about it. Your sister is telling you.
We'll see.
Which one is older?
I am technically 8 minutes older.
8 minutes
Yeah.
older. Okay.
Glorious, quiet, solo 8 minutes.
See, that's what she's saying about me in the womb. I was enjoying these 8 minutes.
Actually, you were quieter.
This is
there.
what I'm saying. I was still in there. It was like my roommate had just moved out, and I was like, "This place is great. I want to stay in." Like, this is. Thought I was going to upgrade
This
to a
is
bigger
nice.
place. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"This is." I
And you
can
were
stretch out.
crying,
I was-
suffering in the world.
I was. She
I
missed
actually
me.
I was actually very tiny. Sarah had been taking all the food, so I was very little, and I was a bit sickly, and I had jaundice. I had to go into. We were actually very small when we were born, and we had to go into the incubators for like
Okay.
almost a month.
A month?
Yeah, we didn't get to go home. So,
Wow.
and back then in the 1920s, they kept twins apart after they were born anyway, and so we were separated from each other. And I think this is where all our issues stem from, because
We might have been much more independent if we had been able to be with each other in the beginning. Now we have like codependency issues with each other, I think. So.
No, you cannot do anything about it.
no, we can't now.
But you have this twins thing, like you feel something and you also, and that kind of stuff.
We don't have any special powers. I wish we did, but
I'd be in Vegas right now. I
yeah,
would just
totally.
be like,
We would
if
not
we could
be
read each
using-
other's minds, I would have already come up with some kind of hook or some kind of scam. It probably makes me seem like I'm a dishonest person, but I don't know. We'd be doing something in Vegas, like some kind of trick with tigers, or I don't know. But
Yeah. No, we don't. But
can't.
you get a. I've been around Sarah my whole life. I mean, now we're in a band together. Like I say I can read her mind. I mean, I can tell what's going on with her, and I think there becomes this like instinctual sense with one
Yeah.
another. But no special twin powers. Like if I hauled off and punched her in the face right now, I wouldn't feel it.
I hope
she'd
you
feel it because I would retaliate.
Well, sisters.
Sisters, I was in my twins.
Well, you have an amazing band. That's your superpower.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
¿Tengo o no tengo razón? Bueno. Well, thanks a lot for being here in the
Thank
show.
Thank you
so
so much
much.
for having
I'm
us.
so excited to
This
have you
is
here.
So awesome to be in Mexico City for the first time. It was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you must visit Mexico City
We're going to.
very soon.
We're already
with the
planning.
new album.
Yeah, we'd love to. We
Yeah.
really would.
You're touring right now with. I heard that you start touring in 2012 with the Black Keys.
Yeah, we just
yeah.
finished a run with the Black Keys, and now we go and tour with the Killers until Christmas. So
You're with every kind of artist.
I know.
Yeah.
I
we
like
get around.
that.
We get around.
Yeah. And do you like to be in that kind of tour? I mean, not precisely your tour, but I think the learning process
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
I think that
totally.
in small doses, supporting other bands can be very, very beneficial. You know, you get in front of a bigger audience, you get to see how they do things, you get to learn from a bigger band, and
Play in front of like new people, and it makes you sort of work harder, I guess, in a strange way. Like you really, you put your showman, on, like you're like dun dun dun. We want people to like us,
Yeah.
whatever. Whereas when you're playing for your own audience, you can be a little bit more playful and sort of talk to them and tell them stories and that sort
course.
of thing, which is a really special thing too. So it's good to go between them, keep it fresh.
Have you ever traveled also with the DJs, with the producers of the
No.
dancing to sing a little bit or
No,
something like
but
that?
maybe someday it would be
Yeah.
really fun.
In
I don't
Vegas.
know. They
Maybe
get up
in
too
Vegas.
late.
Yeah, they play
perform
too
at like
way
2 in the
late,
morning. Too late for
But
us.
the
Too late.
private
old
jet
ladies.
part,
Yeah.
the private jets part is very. Yeah, I could be convinced if there was a jet involved. A lot of those DJs, they're just flying around by themselves. I could be convinced to go on a tour like that.
Yeah, of course. So you go early to bed after a concert?
Yeah.
We do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, early. Like we're not big partiers, so we play at 9. You have a little snack after you play, a little chat, and in bed before 1.
And then go to sleep.
Yeah. So we did one show with this artist Morgan Page, who we have a couple songs on his record, and we played like a rave at like 2 in the morning.
Okay.
And I mean,
It was crazy.
You were sleeping.
I mean, I was awake, but I was like, I felt like I was going crazy. And then we played, and then the next 2 days, I didn't even drink or anything. I felt hungover just because I had been,
Awake,
like at this
yeah.
like crazy thing in the middle of the night. and
dancing too much.
I was
With your
overdanced.
amazing dance.
I mean, that night I did dance a bit, yeah. But it's when you're around a bunch of people dancing, it feels different, Yeah.
Finally, do you have any kind of rules, of space? Like when we finish tour, let's separate
Oh, right.
like for a while or something like that?
We have lots of rules in general. But
Tell me some.
well, on tour we have lots of rules about being clean and organized, but when we get off tour, the rule is less defined. But we do live in separate cities, and we
Do you used to live together for a while?
Just when we were
once, or-
kids.
Okay.
Just when we were kids. When we graduated high school, we moved out and lived in different cities, and
Yeah.
I think that boundary has really helped, define our lives as individuals. We're everything is about this band and who we are together and the roles we play in each other's music and everything. And living separately from each other and having that time to be autonomous has allowed us to really define ourselves as grown-ups, as people who don't have to necessarily be associated with the
Exactly.
other. Yeah.
Exactly. And when you decide, finally, when you decide to make like the name Tegan and Sara,
Yeah.
I heard that the Sara thing was also like some kind of.
well, yeah, basically.
Tell me what.
When we were kids, you're onto something. I know what you're talking about. When we started out, I mean, our family and friends always called us Sarah and Tegan.
Okay.
So when we named our band, we just called it Sarah and Tegan. But it's
But you are 8 minutes earlier.
well, I am 8 minutes earlier. It's true, but I was fine with the Sarah and Tegan bit. But when you say Sarah and Tegan to someone who doesn't know what you're saying, it
It's
sounds
like a last name.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's too
it's true.
it's too rushed together. So when you say Tegan and Sarah, you have to enunciate it. So I got my name first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I get
You won again.
I get a bigger
sounds
I
reasonable,
get a bigger
right?
percentage of the royalties.
Yeah. So I get. Yeah. Exactly.
Thanks a lot for being here
Thanks
on
for
the show.
having us. Thank you.
Could you play a little bit more
Yes.
for us?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you. Un aplauso a Tegan and Sara. You're lovely girls. Thanks a lot for coming. Bueno, ya casi nos vamos a ir del programa, pero todavía les tenemos un par de canciones más de Tegan and Sara. Les agradezco muchísimo que me hayan acompañado una vez más en este programa llamado Sesiones. Les recuerdo el acceso a todo nuestro contenido, sesionesconalejandrofranco.com. En Twitter nos pueden encontrar en @sesionesconaf o el mío personal es @alejandrofranco y en Facebook busquen las cuentas oficiales. Me voy, que estén muy bien, gracias a este público maravilloso el día de hoy. Los dejo una vez más con Tegan and Sara.
is far from so lonely. Yeah, you're just unlike me. I hope I never figure out who broke your heart. And spend the night. You say sleep, I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. I spend the night. You say sleep, I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Lose me wrong. If I do, hope I never figure out the hope, and that I do. Spend the night, lose the sea. I spend the night, I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. Spend the night, lose the sleep. I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. I spend the night, lose the sleep. I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. I spend the night, lose the sleep. I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. I spend the night, lose the sleep. I spend the night and I lose my mind. Spend the night, lose my mind. I won't regret saying this thing that I'm saying. Is it better than keeping my mouth shut? That goes without saying. You call, break it off, stop, break my own heart. It would have been something you figured out. Maybe it would have been something I figured out.
When you came to me, you say you love me. When you tend to go, you make up their story. The broken heart you brought to my life, the bitter taste of a shameful life. Why you lied to me at the day you came? And why did you give me unreal dream stuff? Crying tonight for my painful life. Maybe I'm happy in other world. Loneliness with me in the rest of my life. I would have fight to be for the justice. Don't underrate my power of mind. I would have fight and stand by my side. I would have fight and stand by my side. Saturday I've been alone, walking around in the silent sound, till the end of the blurry way. I felt some things blowing my ears. Lonely night, my heart was beating. I'm calling in whisper.